I'm finna do a 10-minute Bible study with y'all real quick, okay? So listen, good morning, TikTok. Good morning, TikTok. So yesterday, I started rereading the book of First Samuel, right? And as I was rereading the book of First Samuel, I really started reading it because I wanted to go back to the story where David played insane so he could get away from King Amalek. I think that's how you pronounce it. So as I was reading it, I got up this morning and I kept reading. I read a little bit further than that yesterday, but I got up this morning and I kept reading. So I started reading, because I just flipped to this side. I started reading about how when David, hold on, was he... Okay, so yeah, in 1 Samuel 23, where David went to go save the city of Keilah, right? And so as I was reading it, I was like, really? Because this is what happens in real life when you begin in other people's business that ain't your business. So it says here that David men came to him saying that the Philistines went and they were invading Keilah, right? It says, then they told David saying, look, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and they are robbing the threshing floor. So it said that David went to God to go ask God, should I help the people in Keilah? And God told him, yes. So then he went to his men and he was like, hey, we finna go rescue them. And the men was scared because they was like, listen, the Philistines is over there. Y'all know Goliath was a Philistine and the Philistines was big people. So they like, listen, we already scared. The Philistines is over there invading them and we already scared. So David said, okay, cool. He went back to God and he said, should I go rescue Keilah? And God told him, yes, right? So he go over there, they rescue Keilah, they beat the Philistines, bam. Now Saul, who is on an assignment to take David's life, find out that David was in Keilah. So Saul like, I'm gonna go pull up on them, right? So it says here, so Saul said, oh, wait, before that. So, now it happened when Abiathar, the son of Amalek, fled to David at Keilah, that he went down an ephod in his hand. And Saul was told that David had gone to Keilah, right? So Saul said, God has delivered him into my hand, for he has shut himself in by entering a town that has gates and bars. Then Saul called all the people together for war to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. So Saul was so jealous of David. First of all, he dang near knocked Jonathan off, who was his own son, because he felt like Jonathan had more loyalty to David than Jonathan had to him. And the Bible says that Jonathan loved David like he loved himself. So once David told Jonathan, listen, your daddy trying to knock me off, and Jonathan was like, bro, I don't really believe that my daddy trying to knock you off. Like, you're married to my sister, my daddy love you. Like, I'm not buying it that my daddy trying to knock you off. So they came up with the plan of the arrow. He was like, listen, if you go to your daddy and you tell your daddy that I went to Bethlehem to go, celebrate with my own people, and he don't get mad, and you shoot the arrow and you don't shoot the arrow past me, then I know that it's safe. But if you go and your daddy get mad and you come out and you shoot the arrow past me, then you know what I'm telling you is the truth, that your daddy trying to off me. So they did that little 1-2, and come to find out, when they did it, Saul threw a spear that almost took Jonathan out, right? So Jonathan went out, he shot the bow. Bam, we already know that. So at this point, you really on a mission to take this man out because you're jealousy, because you was jealous that you knew he was going to be the next king. And you, my friend, was trying to stop something and then he going to tell Jonathan, when he did almost take Jonathan out, talking about you got more loyalty to him than me, not even knowing that he going to be the next king and you ain't going to be able to be the king. So you, not only was you already jealous of this child, because David was a child, especially up under Saul. But not only was you jealous of this child, but you was trying to make your son jealous because you love that power of position. That position of power. But you were such a people pleaser, you could never get right. You just was messing up, because technically you were never supposed to be the king from the get-go, because God wanted to be the direct contact between him and the people. But the people Like people do, just don't never be satisfied. Okay, so bam, we're gonna go over here. So after that happened, David ran, right? So David go and consult God. He like, hey, is the people of Keilah gonna deliver me into Saul's hand? And God was like, yep. And he was like, is Saul gonna pursue me? And God was like, yep. So you didn't went over here to save these people from the Philistines, got in some business that didn't belong to you, and then they turned David in. Or they was trying to turn David into Saul. Like, I just saved y'all. And y'all gonna try to turn me in? Really? So bam, we're gonna skip over here to 23. I'm gonna start at 17. And he said to him, do not fear, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find you. Oh yeah, so David goes to meet up with Jonathan. Jonathan goes to meet David in the wilderness, right? It said, I'm gonna start at 14. And David stayed in strongholds in the wilderness and remained in the mountains in the wilderness of Ziph. Saul sought him every day, but God did not deliver him into his hand. So David saw that Saul had come out to seek his life, and David was in the wilderness of Ziph in the forest. Then Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David in the woods and strengthened his hand in God. And he said to him, do not fear, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find you. You shall be king over Israel, and I shall be next to you. Even my father Saul knows it. Saul was already jealous of David. And then he was also jealous of David and Jonathan's relationship. But what Jonathan messed up was, the Bible tells you that you have to leave your father's house. And it says that sometimes the people in your house will be your enemies. They will be against you. And what Jonathan messed up was, he had like he couldn't cut that tie between him and his daddy. So this is why you got to be careful when family be like, oh no, we family, but you know that they didn't cross you. Oh no, we family, but you know that they didn't dogged you. Oh no, we family, but you know that they didn't drag your name through the mud, all up through the mud with strangers here, there, and everywhere. This is when you got to cut it off, because you thinking that because you have a tie to this, your mama, to your brother, to your sister, to your cousin, to your grandma. You thinking because we blood related that I have to keep that relationship going, not realizing that you really putting yourself in harm's way. You really cutting your own hand. You really cutting your own head off, because this is exactly what happened to Jonathan, because Jonathan could not cut that tie between him and his daddy. He ended up losing his life on the battlefield with his daddy, when he really, in all actuality, was supposed to be the right-hand man to David. David would have gave Jonathan everything up under him as king. That was literally his right-hand man before he became king. You don't think he would have gave him everything as his right-hand man once he became king? But Jonathan could not cut that tie, and it cost him his life, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to skip on down. It says, now therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of your soul, to come down. Our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. And Saul said, blessed are you of the Lord, for you have compassion on me. You telling these people they got compassion on you because they were saying they was going to deliver David to you, but David ain't never did nothing to you. Like, David never did nothing to you. And so in chapter 24, because I don't got enough time, so in chapter 24, David goes into Saul's camp while Saul in there asleep, and he cut Saul's robe. He cut a piece of Saul's robe. And his people were saying, God has delivered your enemy into your hand, and David couldn't even do it. Like, he couldn't even take Saul out, because he was like, at the end of the day, this is God's anointed. But what he did was, when Saul woke up, he called Saul from the other side. It was like, Saul, I could have took your life, but I spared your life. And then Saul tells him, you are blessed. He said, you are blessed. Hold on. After whom the king of Israel came out, whom do you pursue? A dead dog, a flea. Therefore the Lord be the judge, and judge between you and me, and see and plead my cause to deliver me out of your hand. Dang, I should have underlined it. Hold on. I ain't got no time. Saul lifted up his voice and wept. Then he said to David, you are more righteous than I, for you have rewarded me with good, whereas I have rewarded you with evil. And the point that I wanted to make is, your enemies can see your reward, and they try to stop it before it's even fulfilled. Saul was trying to stop David's reward, because he was trying to stop David's future, because he already knew that it was prophesied that David was going to be a king, and he just couldn't handle it. He didn't give a hot goddamn about Jonathan becoming king. He wanted to stay king. He wanted to be in power. So my point is, cut them people off that don't mean you no good, and don't be walking around here jealous of people.